Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a bit of an exclusive. We have a brand new release from Squale. This is their Master Titanium. Now the Master range from Squale has been around since 1959, and this is their anniversary model, their 65th anniversary model they've created for themselves. And it's the first time Squale has ever used grade 5 titanium to build a watch from. So even though it's quite it's got a good size to it, it's still quite light at only 131 grams, including this titanium bracelet. So it's quite a cool watch actually. It's got, it's a little bit different to some of the other Squale models we have seen. So, but before I get too invested in this review, I've got to say a massive thank you to First Class Watches of Kenilworth. Super friendly, really nice to deal with. I say they've got 4.9 on Trustpilot. Really, cracking team to work with. They've got a massive amount of watches in stock and on the premises. It is truly impressive. So if you're in the Midlands area or Kenilworth area, feel free to pop in. If you're a bit further afield, I'll leave a link in the description below, and I'll leave a link across the bottom of the page now. All I ask is if you do contact them, please mention the channel, as it really would help. So anyway, let's talk sizes. We are talking, now the actual, what they say it's a 41.5 size, but that's the bezel. The bezel is 41.5. The actual body of the watch is only 40mm. You can see it is stepped down slightly. Now the thickness of the watch, I'm reading at 15.5mm. The lug to lug, so the longest point across here, is 49mm, and the bracelet size is 20mm. Now the dial on this watch is quite interesting. It's a little bit different, because as you can see, we have this matte black finish with Squale on there and the logo underneath there, and the most important bit of information there, 120 Atmos. Now what that means is this has 1.2 kilometers of water resistance to it, which is pretty impressive. So this really is a kind of, a hardcore diver for sure. But as we look past that, we have this kind of matte black finish dial, and as you can see, the actual hour markers are set back. This has what's called a sandwich dial. Now, there's actually 3 layers to this. So what they do at first, they apply a disc below with the luminous material on there. Now, they've kind of given it this faux aged look, which harps back to the 60s kind of models. Now, once that disc's on there, they then place the actual dial disc on top of that, and this has cutouts so you can see that piece below, and then on top of that they put these applied hour markers. So you've actually got 3 levels to this dial. The actual markers themselves are brushed finished, as too are these hands. Now, as you can expect, with all that luminous material on there, this really does glow, including the bezel. It really does have a strong lume to it. It really is quite impressive on this. But overall, I think the dial, it just gives it a little bit of a little bit more interesting with these different kind of textures going on. So you do have the date also over at the 3 o'clock position there. Now, as we come past that, we have this domed sapphire crystal. And as I mentioned before, this is 4mm thick. That is quite a substantial crystal, I have to say, on there. It is also full of AR coating. If you notice here, as I turn it a bit towards the light there, you can see that blue AR going on. So there is quite a substantial amount of AR coating on there, as you can see. Now, as we come past here, the actual bezel. The bezel insert is a brushed ceramic type. It is. It does look quite good, I feel. Now, when it comes to the actual action, let's have a listen. Very snappy. 120 click. Back play. Yeah, there's a little bit. Nothing too bad. Let's see. Does it line up? One more. There you go. Lines up there. So to purchase it, it is quite easy. You have this nice coin edge going on there, and because it is set slightly proud of the body of the watch, it just makes it a bit easier to actually grasp. Now, When it comes to the body, as mentioned, this is grade 5 titanium and it looks superb. As you can see from the side air, we do have a helium release valve. I don't know anyone who's actually ever used one, but there are people who do saturation dives, so it is there. I suppose better to have than need. Now, what's really nice with this as well is, as you can see, we have these very nice strong bevels going on. And one thing I do like is you can see they have got a high polish. Now, on titanium watches, it's normally quite hard to get a really good polish, but they definitely seem to have done that on this. It also has drilled lugs. Now, drilled lugs I still like to see. I think they make strap changing so much easier. Now, when it actually, mentioning that, I should point out it does come with a tropic strap as well. And I can imagine this watch on this strap would look really quite cool. It does have a sign buckle, as you can see there. So that's one thing I do personally like, is on a tool watch to actually have drilled lugs. You can see it blends quite nicely with this, as with the end links as it comes around there. Now on this side you do have the crown down at the 4 o'clock position, and it is recessed quite heavily into the body of the watch. So it is a screw down crown. Let's unscrew it. And there it is, clicked out. As you can see from beneath, you can actually see one of the gaskets, which helps maintain the water resistance to it. So let's screw that back in. The reason for placing it down here at the 4 o'clock position instead of the 3 o'clock position is sometimes this can actually put pressure on the back of your hand. So that's the reason they put it down there. It's also a little bit more protected being lower down and less exposed than up here. Now, when we come around to the back of the watch, it is a screw down case back. You can't see the movement back here, but it is a Sellita SW200. Now, I put this on the time grapher and I think it was pulling +2 seconds with a good amplitude. So absolutely spot on, no problems at all with this. It does have, it's a 26 joule movement and has 38 hours of power reserve. And when it comes to the automatic winding of the watch, it is bi-directional. So what I mean by that is the rotor, if it spins clockwise or anti-clockwise, is actually winding the watch. So that is a very efficient system. Now, the actual bracelet of the watch, I've left the packaging on here to be fair. This is quite interesting because it has got a pin system all the way through, but what's nice is it's completely pinned all the way through. So what I mean by it is sometimes if you've got rather small wrists, there's only so much adjustment you can have on a bracelet. This one, you can actually swap out every single link. And another advantage of that is, let's say you bash the watch against a door frame, whatever, and you damage one of these links. Well, perfect. You can just swap it out with one, because I dare say you'll have a spare link when you size it for yourself. So you can then swap that link out and just replace it with one of the others. So that is actually quite a good system. On 90% of all watches, you normally cannot remove the top links. And so if you do damage it, it means you've got to get polished or laser welded or so forth. This you can actually swap out. So I think that is quite a good thing. Also, this brace actually harps back to the 1960s model, so it is quite a nice touch. Overall, I do quite like the watch. Let me put it on my wrist, got an idea how it looks. Quick wrist check. I'm wearing my Zinn 104 anniversary model, and Bob has the still relatively new release from Marathon. I think that is a very, very cool tool watch. Now, my wrist size is 7¼ inches, which works out round about 18.5 centimeters, I believe. And that's how it actually looks on there. I think it actually doesn't, it really does look quite good for especially a watch with such a high level of water resistance to it. It does look good. One thing I should have pointed out is the clasp on this. It is a butterfly clasp on here, and it is signed, as you can see. The only thing I would say as a slight criticism, I think this would have been better with a standard fold over clasp, as you have micro adjustment on there, and normally you have a dive link extension And it just means that sizing the watch is a little bit easier. You do, obviously you can swap out all these links, so it shouldn't be a problem. But on a dive watch, I prefer to see an actual proper fold over clasp. But overall, I think this is quite a cool watch. It's definitely at the higher price range for Squale, for this brand, but it is quite a cool watch. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you to it, but most importantly, stay safe out there. Bye.